My name is Shelby Nielson. I am a therapist here at Elevations RTC, and I serve as the managing therapist between Elevations and The Approach. I've been in the industry for quite some time now. I worked as a milieu staff at various different programs for the better part of a decade. I started working in corrections many years ago and realized I didn't want to be part of warehousing people. I wanted to be part of finding the solution, and working with adolescents just ended up being the right path for me. And the amount of growth I get to see with these kids, I love. It's one of my favorite things I get to see is just where a kid, and when I speak about the journey that you've been on as a parent, like we get to see that from our side, and we get to see your whole family improve and change, and they get to just have an immense amount of change and positive growth. And just watching that and watching it from a different angle now as a clinician at this point in my life is very rewarding and beneficial for me. And yes, it does also give me some skills to use with my own children as well. So yeah, when we move a student over from Elevations, they stay with their same therapist. They continue doing the same therapy that they're doing before as far as individual therapy, and a lot of the family therapy stays the same as well. And basically what I do is I do the groups over at The Approach, and I offer just a little bit more of a connection between the Elevations treatment teams, the Approach treatment team, and the actual therapists as well. So I'll communicate individually with each of the different therapists and talk with them when there's any type of issue with one of the students, and just making sure that we're not missing things, making sure that we have another set of therapeutic eyes over there watching and basically caring for the kids over there. We've had some students from outside of Elevations transfer to The Approach, and basically they'll be assigned a therapist, and there'll be one of our therapists from here at Elevations will be assigned to them. And what I'll do as well is, if we get a new student in, I'll probably spend a little more time with them to make sure that they feel like they're getting to know people, they're comfortable, and they'll still go through that same process of working with one of our therapists here, myself or one of our other therapists, and making sure that they have that connection with people, making sure that things aren't being missed with them. I'll definitely have them join into the groups, and most of the kids over there already know each other from having been here, but for a student who's coming in from outside of Elevations, I'll put in a little bit more work there to make sure that they're getting to know the group process, just getting to know people over there. Coming from Elevations itself, another RTC, a wilderness type of setting, what we want is, first and foremost, is we want them to be bought in to continue to work to get better on their issues. So we want them to be willing to be able to name their core issues, to be able to name what their struggles are, and to be able to reach out for supports that are available. There's a lot of supports that are available, and what we want is for them to be willing to reach out and get that support that is there for them. We want them, another part of a student transitioning to The Approach from either Elevations or somewhere else, is we want there to be this linkage between a more structured environment and moving to between that and going home. Because a lot of times when a student leaves from Elevations from such a structured environment or another RTC or another place like that, it's such a shock to the student going home, and just there's all these freedoms, there's just so many ways to mess up. What The Approach does is we offer a way for them to be caught, because we expect kids to mess up, we expect kids to have setbacks, and we don't conceptualize that as being the end of the world. We want them to have a place they can land, and a place that there's professionals and supports that can catch them. While at The Approach, students, they still do have their individual sessions with their therapist. They will also have family sessions with them, and what we try and do is we try and move the students from being completely reliant on a therapist, on the therapeutic staff, to being able to reach out to support, to receive support from their family as well. So usually when a student first gets there, we'll be doing those family sessions quite regularly, up to every week. And there's been some students I've had who I've done more than one family session a week, just depending on the needs that they have. And so, but the goal is to move them to a place that they're getting that support from family members rather than us. So we do start to dwindle that down a little bit. We're still going to do a family therapy session every 3 weeks at the outside most. And we just want to make sure that we're moving them towards being able to live at home with their family. We also offer groups at the Approach. I run a group every week with both houses, and we kind of tailor that group to be what's needed by the students at the current time. Currently, with the students we have right now, we're doing a lot of process groups and a lot of problem solving in our groups as well. they learn all these skills while they're at Elevations or at another program as well, of assertiveness, of actually working through struggles, of conflict. And we want to give them that chance that they can do that both in a group setting and naturally with their relationships with other people there. So we do have 2 houses of the approach, and it's very a strength there is that we're able to take each individual student, no matter where they're coming from, and put them in whatever environment suits them best, just based on personalities of other kids there. We take into account all the different ideas of gender, of their core issues, of how we think they're going to do and who they're going to interact with. We take all that into account when we decide where a student goes to, which house, who's there. And so we are really uniquely able to accept basically any type of different, diverse student that's appropriate for this level of care. First and foremost, we want to acknowledge that the journey that you've been on with your child's been a rough one. It's been a long time, and a lot of effort's been put in to get your child to a place that they can function at this level. And we want to be able to put in the effort to support you and your family to get that student to where they can transition home. Thank you for your trust in us and letting us to support you guys, because it's been a journey. And I just want to, the suggestion I would offer is just to continue to trust that as a process, and realizing that even though some struggles may happen, even though there's going to be some setbacks, we really are looking for supporting and finding the resiliency of your child, and actually supporting them to let that resiliency continue to grow, because it's not a static thing that's just set in time. They can continue to get even better from where they are right now. All the work that's gone into it can continue to build and grow.